tables. Now in this episode, we are going to focus on how to create relationship. In order for us to create relationship, we can move our cursor and click on the database tools, then we click on relationship. We have subject table and then students table. These are the two tables that are already in relationship. Now the most important thing here, if you want to create relationship, you pick one field from one table and you drag it over the other field. There's already a relationship that exists, so we're just going to edit it. So you can see if the primary key are on the same field name, that means that relationship type is one-to-one, and this is how you get a one-to-one relationship. If it is on a different key, supposing we take it back to maybe subject ID, it's going to be one-to-many, and this is exactly how you can quickly create relationship in database program. All right, we're not going to waste a lot of time here, but this is how you can create. Remember, we have only two types of relationship. We have one-to-many relationship type, and then we have one-to-one relationship type. All right, let's close it and we come back. Say no, we're not saving anything. Let's come back to our subject table. We want to perform calculation that will determine the total price of a subject. This is how we are going to get the total price of a subject. Let's click on view. We go to design view. Then we add in a new field called total price. So it's going to be in currency. So let's change the data types. This data type from short text to currency. Let's click on currency. And we are going to change the format. And this is what you can do in the field properties. So let's change it from currency to standard, and then the number of decimal places, we can reduce the number of decimal places to 0. Then we click on save button or the save icon. Then we click on view. Then we view our datasheet view. Let's click on it, and this is going to be our new field name for total price. Now let's go to query to create the total price using calculation. So our next step is to click on create, and we are going to use our design view of our query. So query design, let's click on query design. Now we are supposed to add the values that are within the subject table. So let's click on subject table and add, close. So our next step is to put in the field, and this is how you can put the field when you're using a query. So you can click on the subject ID, drag to the field, then you click on number of subject, drag to the field, click on subject date, drag to the field, click on price per subject, drag to the field. Our next step is to perform calculation. And remember, we are supposed to enter a formula. So in a query, the formulas are entered either using a builder, which is here, or you can type the formula directly. Let's first start by typing the formula directly. So we are going to get a formula for total price. Then we put a colon, space, using a square bracket. Then remember to put the correct name of the field name. So it's going to be number of subject times, using the asterisk symbol, times price per subject. So let's expand it so that you can be able to see. This is going to be the formula for getting the total price. So our next step is to check it up, and then we are going to run it. But before we run it, we must change the property sheet. Let's click on it. So the format, we should change it to standard, decimal places format standard. Alright, we can't see the decimal places, we have already removed it. So let's quickly go and run it. So this is going to be our total price. Remember, we still have the decimal places here, so we can still click on view, design view. So we get back here, the decimal places is already right here. Let's click on it and then we put it to 0. Then let's run. You see the decimal places has already gone, and this is exactly how you can perform calculation using formulas in queries using Microsoft Access 2016. Our next step is to create a query that will determine people who come from, assuming that we want people from Mbarara, Masaka. So this is how we can get a query that will determine the people who come from Mbarara and Masaka. So let's save this query as calc query. Click on the save button, then you say calc query, then click OK. So our next step is to create a new query that will get people from Masaka district that start with letter M. Let's click on create, and then let's move over to query design, and let's add people from the two tables. Remember, you're going to add people from students table and then districts from other contents from subject table, and close. So the first field that we need is going to be the student ID, and the other is going to be student name, contact code, student location, number of subject, and that's all we need. Our next step is to get a criteria that will determine people from the M district. Let's come here and we use the wildcard. So we are going to use the wildcard of like space open quotation M asterisk close quotation. So people only from the M district. So it's going to be Mbarara, Masaka. So let's run our query, and this is exactly how you can obtain people that come from the M district. And we are going to save the query as M location. So let's click on the save icon and say it M location. Let's click OK. Alright, we shall continue our learning in the next episode, how to perform calculation in forms.